Okay, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to this workshop today. I'm super excited to be hosting, which is all about working less and making more. And this one is titled 3-Day Weekends All Year Long. So let's just jump right in. If you don't already know me, and I know that a lot of you already do who are on here, if you are new to me, then I'm Donna Ashton, and it is my mission to help my clients work less and make more money quickly and with less effort. So introduce yourself in the chat. You can ask questions over there throughout the presentation or send me a message. So if you have a question as I'm going along, please don't hesitate to go ahead and put it in there. We'll do questions at the end, but if you're like, I don't want you to forget your question, so go ahead and put it in there. And also let me know what you're thinking about as far as a program or what you're trying to create as we are going through this. So don't be shy, feel free to chat and to participate. I will be asking some questions and we're going to be doing a fun exercise. So let's start first by me explaining what the definition is of a leveraged program. So you'll hear me talk a lot about leveraging and having a leveraged program. So I think it's better than one-to-one coaching because, and we'll talk about it in just a few minutes, of all of the amazing things that come with a program like this. It's a group coaching combo with learning modules. So it's not just a course and it's not just coaching. It's like that combination of having the modules there for you to, when you need to, go watch them and get some feedback directly from the coach, you or me, inside of this program with feedback and answering questions and helping you keep moving forward. It's also what I consider a premium price. So this is not a $200 program. This is not just a $97 course. We are talking about a premium price that can range anywhere from $800 to $2,000. It could even be $2,500. I like to say $1,000 is a really good place to start. And so we're going to do some math in just a minute, and we're going to use that as our example. So I want you to start thinking already about charging something that's really, going to help you. And we're going to talk all about how to hit your goals and how to get the best results for your clients. A leverage program is also something that's like a set time. So it's not just an ongoing coaching program. It actually could be an 8-week program, a 3-month program, a 6-month program, or whatever it is for you. So it has like a start and stop, like a container to it. And it's not just downloads or videos, it's a whole transformational experience. As I said, it's like kind of combining the two worlds and giving you everything you need to become successful. It is the full solution to your client's migraine problem. If you've heard me talk on my podcast and other webinars all about finding the migraine problem, we're not going to get into that today, but I will talk about that in an upcoming training I will be telling you about at the end. We're talking about no band-aids here. This is like from A to Z, what your clients need to solve their problem. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's everything you ever know about your topic. That can just be overwhelming. So there's a happy medium of like giving them the entire solution and not just band-aiding it. It's also creates better coaching and better energy because you are showing up refreshed. You are showing up maybe once a week or once every other week to do coaching instead of maybe 6 hours a day or 10 hours a day or whatever you currently could be doing if you have a full roster of clients or patients or projects that you're working on. So you are going to come from a more empowered and powerful place. And obviously it is less delivery time, right? We are doing maybe one call a week. Like I said, one call every other week, office hours. There's all kinds of different ways to set this up. But this type of program, thus the leveraged part, meaning it is less delivery time for you as the coach. So let's talk about some changes that are going on in the industry, and not just over the last year and a half to 2 years. But even before that, I started seeing some changes in the coaching industry. People are doing things a little bit different, more authentic, more, what am I trying to say? Like, sort of like, instead of like burning themselves out or just like working themselves to the bone, I think this feminine way of doing business and also marketing is really starting to come into its own. It's been out there for a while, but I think it's really starting to become more of the norm. And I think after 2020 and 2021, then it just has been like, okay, why are we putting this off? Why are we doing this? As well as the digital industry, the digital products industry, the e-learning, the courses, and all of that, huge shifts happening. And again, I started talking about this at the end in 2019 and before like COVID hit. And I started to see some real changes in the way the whole, e-courses or digital product industry was taking place. And some of these statistics are just, really, really sad. Well, actually, this is incorrect. This is supposed to say 15% completion rate. My bad. I typed a 3. It's not 35% completion rate. I wish it was. But I heard that the statistic that only about 15% of people who buy a digital course or a program complete it. I think people are tired of DIY. They know that when they get in there, they either just forget about doing it or life comes up. There's no skin in the game or no real commitment for a like low priced course or a low priced program that's $200, even $500, $75. You've seen these $37 programs and all of those kind of in between. And I don't know if you've been guilty of this, but I can definitely raise my hand saying I've bought some of those and I never finished them. So I think, and then it kind of begins to feel like you are wasting your money. Like, oh, I just wasted that $400 or $500. And it's not the person's fault who created it. Probably it's a very good course, hopefully, but you're not committed. You don't have that, skin in the game to move forward with it. And people are buying courses and not doing it. And so I think it's starting to get a bad rap. People are really getting sick of that. And because what we talked about earlier, they're just band-aid solutions. Like they're just pieces. Like, okay, it's like giving a small solution and then hoping to upsell. Like these are just little pieces. And if you've seen this or you've even heard of this or maybe been taught this, because I think, like I said, marketing is even changing very rapidly over the last couple of years and even the last 6 months. Before we were like, hey, everyone have a small, like little $47 program or $97 program, and then move them up to like a $300 or $500 program, and then move them up to like a $997 program. Like that was sort of this like hierarchy of like moving people through your client journey and giving them the first piece, then giving them the second piece, and then giving them the third piece. And people, I think, are still out there are under the impression that that's a good way to do it. But it becomes each time you have to upsell someone to the next piece, you lose people. They're like, well, I didn't really get what I needed out of that. So why am I going to spend more money? So giving those small solutions and trying to upsell and band-aiding it together just isn't working. It maybe worked. And believe me, I've been doing online courses since 2009. And back in the day, this worked very well. But just like everything, things change and we have to kind of stay ahead of the curve. So what I am seeing and what I am doing myself is like merging these two industries of coaching and digital learning together. And you really get the best of both. And it really creates this new experience that gets results and requires less energy for the coach. So better results for clients and better results for you. You're not like on phone calls, all week long, all day long, trying to like deliver all of your coaching and teach people, but you're putting it together in this, leverage program container. and are able to just deliver it once and serve it a lot better. So why this is better? Here are some of the things, and I mentioned some of these already. You show up as a better coach. Like, no matter what, I don't care how good a coach you are. If you're coaching starting at 9 or 10 in the morning, sometimes even earlier, and you've got coaching until 5 o'clock or even later. I have colleagues who are working in the evenings and on the weekends, and there's no way that you can sustain the energy and like the brain power that it takes. I'm not saying that you're not doing a good job, but I think it's really hard. I would want to be that person. And I remember booking a call with someone and thinking, I'm so glad I have her at 9 in the morning, because I know that she goes all day. And I wouldn't want to be one of those people that has to get coached by her at like 5 o'clock. So, and like, as you go through the week, like, I just don't know how people can sustain that. So like, having a leverage program, as I said, you're going to show up as refreshed, as like ready and excited, instead of like burned out and like, oh my gosh, I still have 3 more calls I have to do. Right. So the on-demand trainings for clients to watch anytime. So I was part of another program where we just had weekly calls, but there was no like trainings or things to like go learn. So all of the learning took place on the call. And so if I wanted to go back and like learn or watch something on the side, there was nothing there. So I really love the having that library of trainings for your clients to watch. And you can also say, hey, I think you should go back and watch module 3 again. This really explains everything on there. Let's save our one-to-one or our group time for something else. So having those trainings, it's like your clients come to the call more prepared because they've already watched and they've already learned from you on the video. And you don't have to like explain the whole thing and then take up 20 minutes of the time. They can come already prepared to ask the question or to get some clarification or whatever it might be. And being in a group program, I love this. I've been running group programs for over 4 years now. Your clients learn so much by watching and hearing the others. They hearing each other. It's like, I have people saying, I didn't even know I needed to know that. And I'm so glad she asked that question, because I can now go, wow, now I have that piece of knowledge, whereas I wouldn't have even thought to ask that. And many times people who are in the program, some are a little ahead, and it's like, oh, I can see what they're doing and I can get myself prepared. And it's like kind of a preview. You also get to be the CEO of your business when you do things this way. When you have leverage in your business and time, you can think. You can actually sit down and be proactive, listen to your intuition, and have that creative time to actually like work on the business instead of constantly being in the business. And I've heard this so many times from people, like, if I could just have time to think, I know I need to create this webinar or create this next thing in my business, but I just have no time. So having that time will give you so much, it will up-level you so much that it will just allow you to really step into being that CEO of your business and allow you to, to do that. Like, just think about like the CEO of McDonald's is not like, standing in a restaurant, like cooking fries, right? No, they're behind the scenes, like deciding what's best for this business and what's best for this location or whatever it is. And you need to do that as well. And your clients get better results. Your clients will get better results inside of this because of all of these extra things, or not really extra, but these things that you've set up, the trainings, the learning from each other, the being specific and just getting into the it's sort of like laser coaching, right? They know that they don't have a whole hour with you to kind of complain or to, go through all the stuff. They're going to get to the point. They're going to learn. They're going to see what other people are doing and being inspired and motivated. And it just works better. The group synergy that happens inside of a well put together leverage program is just amazing. People in my groups collaborate, they become friends, they help each other, they watch each other's like webinars and things, and they even become each other's clients. So, and stay together, stay talking and like biz besties for, years and years. So having that program is so valuable. So the better results include that these are entire solutions for the migraine problem. Like I was saying, we're not just giving the Band-Aid, and people will be more willing to come into a program where they're going to get the entire thing. Like if you knew for $5,000, you were going to learn how to create six figures, and you were going to be taught everything that you needed to be taught, like, wouldn't you say, great, let's jump in and do that, rather than I'll show you how to set up a website over here, I'll show you how to do this over here. So there's no more piecemealing with, help from different coaches saying different things or different programs. And now I have to go buy this and they're teaching something a little bit different way, or I have to wait. And then maybe she has an enrollment open next year into the other program. People will pay for more value and support. And the proof is my own business, where I had a $500 course that I created in 2016 when I just got going with this business. And it was called The Power of Programs. It was a very good 6-module course. Like I said, it was for $497 and people were buying it. And then I would see people not finish. And I would see people call me and email me later and say, hey, can I just hire you to help me through this? And I was like, wow, I thought I had done a good job, putting all of the stuff in there. I'm really good at breaking things down into step-by-step process. And I went back and looked, and should I do something different? I thought, it's not that. It's not that I wasn't clear. It's that this is really hard to do on your own. And they needed to come and ask questions and to get my eyes on their work and get really some feedback, like, hey, that's a great title, I think you should go with that, or I think we need to go a little bit different way with this. And that comes from experience and just, having been around the block about 10 times. So people know that, and so I stopped selling that, and I started creating my group programs, which were 5 times and 10 times eventually more than what I was selling. And people easily bought them because they knew they were going to have me. They knew they were going to have a whole team behind them. And so people will pay for that. So when you're thinking about $1,000 program, can I charge something like that? I want you to start getting the wheels turning here, that we're talking about not just some workbooks and not just some things. And I'm going to talk more about like the components in the upcoming training that I'm doing and in a little while here. So people realize they need to invest in the support that they need to get personal development and business development. I'm just trying to think about the whole coaching industry and how things have come. Like even 5 and 8 years ago, people were still kind of like, what's a life coach? And why would you pay that much money for coaching and for help? But if you think about it from the standpoint of athletes, right? And where coaching started, if you were like wanting to be a professional athlete or even get into college and play sports, you had a coach, right? You're not just going to try to figure it out on your own. And you're not going to just watch a YouTube video that shows you how to like be the best quarterback. You're going to have a coach out there. And so I think people are realizing that they can have coaches too. And now it's become the norm to hire a coach, to hire a mentor, or to invest in themselves for whatever it might be, whether it's business or weight loss or relationships or mindset or any of those things out there. People now, when you say, oh, I'm a coach, they don't look at you so weird, right? They're like, oh, that's really exciting. Tell me what you do, right? So I think the time has come for people to realize that they get what they pay for, and they're willing to pay more for that value and that support for sure. And what I've definitely noticed, and you probably have too, is like connection is really key. Post-COVID, people want community. People want to be in a group of like-minded others, right? Like we've been so isolated and trying to do things on our own. And people want to be together as much as possible with other people who are on the same journey. They want to experience, weekly connection. That's why it works so well in my own program, is that we have this weekly connection. It's not just a Facebook group. It's also, we see each other, even if it's on the Zoom. And we also did in-person retreat that we just did a few weeks ago here. And that was amazing. Like just being in a room together for 2 days, or just seeing your face and other people's faces, chatting and getting to know each other and networking every week on that FaceTime, like real FaceTime. And so, like I was saying, it creates friendships and collaboration. So people, you might be thinking, well, why would people rather be in a group than be on a one-to-one, working one-to-one with me? Well, here are all of the reasons why. And I promise you, people are really looking for this. And also, it's a lot easier to hit your goals, whether your goals are just helping more people or your goals are to make more money. Hopefully it is to work less and make more. I want you to have all of that. And again, it's because there's more skin in the game. You're, instead of a $200 program, you're charging $1,000, and you've got more committed clients. People who are paying $1,000 or $2,000 or more for a program are going to show up. Hopefully they're going to be more committed. They are going to say, wow, okay, I'm really going to do this. I call it putting the stake in the ground. They're like putting that stake in the ground, saying, I'm worth it. I'm investing in myself to finally lose that 30 pounds, or to finally get to 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever it is in my business, right? Or create a course or a program. And it's just easier to hit your revenue and your impact goals when you have that combination of higher revenue coming in each time you make a sale and committed clients getting amazing results. So what you're going to learn today on this workshop is I'm going to show you how to leverage what you're already doing. So taking your current work, and it may be a piece of that, it may be the whole thing, and we're going to talk through that in just a minute, and how to turn that into this leverage program and step into the world of working less and making more. So here is a case study of one of my clients, and she said, my goal for joining Donna's program was to create a companion program for her book. So she is a published author, and she wanted to create deeper results, and she wanted to bring more people through her process. So she says, not only have I created a program, I've created a leveraged business, and I've purchased programs in the past, but until working with Donna's, they sat on my laptop unused, like what we were already saying. The wealth of information and true understanding on the world of online courses I have gained from her is invaluable. Okay, so let's put on our math hats. I'm totally not a math person and hate math, but this is fun math. So give me just a few minutes and it's going to be like eye-opening fun math for you. So let's do this. And if you will just put into the chat to what your answers are, that'll help me. So let's think about it. If you were creating, and hopefully you're already thinking of creating some kind of leverage program, what is your monthly income goal from this program? So I'm not talking about like the entire thing, like your entire business, but you can kind of think of that too. Like say you're already making, I'm just picking a number, $5,000 a month from your coaching or consulting or whatever you're doing professionally. And you want to add maybe another $3,000 of income from a program. So think about what would be a great goal that you would like to make from this program. And it could be something that's like, okay, my big dream goal, or it could be like, hey, in the next few months, I'd like to make this. Eventually, maybe you'd like to make 10,000 or 15,000. So there's no right or wrong here, but would just love to kind of hear what what you are thinking. So go ahead and put that in the comments in the chat box. And I want you to think about what you will charge for it. And I've already kind of alluded to it. So maybe you're like, I don't know what to say. Maybe what were you thinking coming in? I know I just talked to a woman the other day who was like, I want to charge $200 for my program. So we talked about this. So think about what you were thinking about charging. And, put that down on a piece of paper or just in your head. We're going to do some math. So pull out your calculator or, your phone app that has the calculator, or maybe you're already better at math than me and can do it in your head, but I can't. So let's do some, I'm going to show you some examples while you guys are putting things in the chat. So let's go back to my example of the woman who wanted a $200 course. And she said she wanted to make $5,000 a month with her revenue, right? So I asked her how much she want to make a month. And she said, with this program, she would like to make $5,000 to get started. So I said, great. And then I asked her, how much would you like to sell the course for? And she said $200. So I'm just going to use this here as an example. So she would have to sell 25 programs a month. And that may not sound a lot, but she didn't really have a big list. She didn't have a lot of followers. She didn't have a huge community on social media. She was kind of getting this thing started and she didn't really have a lot to go from. And I'm like, and because conversion rates are at like a 1 to 2% when you're selling online, then she's going to have to push a lot of traffic to make those 25 sales. So I was explaining this to her and I said, let's use my example of same example, the $5,000 of the monthly revenue, but let's use $1,000 for your program. And let's look at the math here. So you must only sell 5. So that's a big difference in selling 5 versus 25. It's much more doable. You only have to push, maybe 10, well, I guess we have a little bit higher conversion than that, but it's a lot less traffic and a lot easier to sell 5 programs per month than it is to sell 25. So I'd love for you to kind of be working through your math. How many courses do you need to sell at your current rate or what you were thinking? And I hope you can see that by having a $1,000 course, and I just kind of choose that program because of the math. It's just it makes more sense. So I'd love to hear your ahas over there in the chat on this and what you did. I don't know if I can access the chat from here. Let me see. Okay. Oh, Zebra said she likes 5,000 is good for her too. Okay, great. So tell me, are you having some aha moments when it comes to, oh, I was thinking I was going to charge, $27 or $97, but I'm going to have to sell 5,000 courses or 5,000 programs if I do that. And that's going to be a lot unless you already are like a big guru with thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram or have a big email list. It makes it a little bit harder. It makes it a lot harder to do that. But using this model of the leveraged program with the higher price tag creates 6-figure revenue. Like just looking at that, like if we just use the same model, so that woman only has to sell 8 courses to hit the $8,000. And I know it's just a little bit more than 8,000. So 8 to 9, she would have to sell per month at the $1,000 to hit 6 figures. So this is not rocket science. And this is not like some pipe dream. This is real, like selling 8 to 9 people a month into your program is totally doable. And this model, and it will help you much quicker get to the 6-figure revenue. And then if you have a $1,500 course or a $2,000 course, obviously, then that even means less people and quicker, moving up. So that's our math. I hope that gave you some enlightenment on if you were thinking about lower price courses or how many and how it was going to work. There's just a very simple model on that. So let's talk about how to shift your current work into a leverage program. So what are you already selling? What are you already doing? What is already working in your business now? And that could be, maybe you have a current coaching package where you work with somebody for 12 weeks, or maybe that you have some workshops that you've hosted in the past where people have paid you $500 or something, and that you did like a one-day workshop. And that was very successful where you taught things. Maybe you just have one-to-one client work, whether that's like hourly, whether you're just seeing people in hourly sessions, or some kind of projects and service-based work. If you are working on people's websites or you're doing social media for someone, like whatever that work is that you are doing, let's think about what's already working, what you are already selling, and what's already getting results for your clients. I don't want you to be like, now I have to go out and I have to think of something else that I'm going to create this program about. No, we want to take what's already there and what you've already created in your mind, whether you know it or not. You have a process that you walk people through. And so you don't have to like reinvent the wheel here. You've already done it. Now we need to just monetize in a more leveraged way what that's going to be. Your brilliance can be packaged into a program. And I know that we get lots of things. A lot people think, I don't think I could ever do that. And I've not had someone yet. Well, I had a couple people, but they weren't really actually selling anything. One woman had like a poetry book. And I was like, she's wanted to turn into a program. And I'm like, I don't know how we could do that unless you're teaching someone how to write a poetry book. Well, we can't take the actual book and create a program out of that. But unless you're selling like pencils or something, then it might be hard. But if you are teaching something already, if you are helping someone through something already, and if you have a question about this or are not sure, please go ahead and put that in the chat and we can like open it up at the end. And I'll be happy to talk with you through it. Because some people are like, I just don't see how what I'm doing could be put into something leveraged. And, I've even talked to people who are like healers and massage therapists, and they're like, well, I give people massages. So how can I leverage that, So, but there are many things that you can do. Even like I've worked with chiropractors too. And it's like, well, you can talk about posture. You could talk about nutrition. You can't like actually adjust someone's back through the screen or like give someone a massage through the screen. But gosh, if they could come up with that, I would really love it. But there are other things you can do about like, because people come to you for relaxation and for, feeling better and uplifting. So, you could create a program about meditation or relaxation and how to like, put that into your life. So there's always a way and you're probably already talking to them and doing this. And so you just have to kind of think out of the box. Like maybe it's really obvious and you're like, I know exactly what I would put into my course, but sometimes depending on, who's on the line here with us and what you're doing, it can seem a little bit harder to figure out how I can do that. So you don't have to worry because that's a gift I have. And when I work with people in my program is how to take what they're doing and package it up so that it makes sense and that people really get results. So I'd love to hear if you have any questions about that. Here's a case study of my client and very good friend, Whitney, and who's a PR coach, public speaking. And she created this whole public speaking course. She was like totally tapped out and like working crazy hours. And she has a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So she wanted to create more freedom in her schedule so she could focus on her family. And she said, I was ready to scale, but I was unclear what that looked like. So Donna provided the clarity and the strategy and how I could open up my calendar while still increasing the income. Like she didn't want to lose the income she had been building. So we created an amazing program for her. And she did her pre-sale launch where she enrolled 13 people and made, I think it ended up being about $13,000. So she ended up losing 60% of her income during the first days of COVID to having the most successful months of her business ever. And this is Jeannie, and she did a whole program on scaling your business. Donna looked at creating my programs in a totally new way and was able to structure them so clearly that 85% of those who attended her event bought into one of the programs. Donna redesigned my programs by leveraging my time and creating a better result. She was another one who was taking phone calls day and night. Of all my live events, this was the easiest time ever to enroll into programs. The numbers are still rolling in, but I made close to $250,000. So not too bad. So who is a good fit when you're thinking about, okay, this sounds great. I really want to do this. Now, who can I put into this program, right? Like who's a good fit for this? So it's really just like thinking about who is already in your kind of what I call your warm universe. So it could be existing clients or previous customers, like depending on where they are. Maybe you are coming to the end of a coaching package, and or you've got some people who are all ending at the end of the year, and now you want to roll them. They still want to work with you in a more leveraged way, and you want to roll them into more of a group. Or perhaps, I'm sure you have a list of potential clients who you talked to either on a sales call, or you met at a networking event, or met online somewhere, and they just weren't ready for your one-to-one work, whether it was the bad timing for them, or it was too big of an investment, or they just weren't ready to jump in at that time. And just basically anyone who's in your warm universe or in your community is a good fit, because you're going to be, it's not like, well, I have my one-to-one work over here. That's going to be this amazing thing. And then we're going to create this program that's like a step down. That's not what happens when we create an amazing leverage program. You're going to be so excited and see the power of this program. And I know, like me, like I just don't even do one-to-ones. It's very rare that I even take on a private client, because I know the experience and the results they're going to get in my course, my program. And I just put them in there because I just think it's the best thing. So that's what I want for you, is to be successful and feel so confident about this program that you can't wait to enroll people into it. So let's talk about how to enroll quickly, because people are usually like, oh, this all sounds great, but now how long does it take to kind of get this thing up and running? So I want to talk about launching in 30 days or less. So I know, everyone can go at their own pace, but I will tell you, your stuff. You already do, like you're already getting results. You have it all in your head. You just need someone to kind of pull it out of your head, put it into an organized program, help you get it online and pre-sell it. Like that's really the, the steps that I take in my own program, take people through. And whether it takes 3 weeks or 3 hours, it can take 3 months too, but it certainly doesn't have to. A few years ago, I did it was like a 1-day workshop that was like from 10 to 4, let's just say. And I had about, I think about 20 people that came, and we literally mapped out their entire course outline. Now, of course, they didn't record modules, but we had everything ready to go. The title, the price, everything organized, what they were going to teach, everything broke down by modules. So, and all they had to do was take that out into their group and start pre-selling. And one girl actually did, and sold out and made $10,000. This was on a Monday, and the following Monday she opened up and sold, I think it was, I'm trying to think now how much she charged, 10 spots. I can't remember. She made like 10,000, must have been at $1,000. And she made, or maybe it was $500. I think that could be what it was. It was 10 spots at $500, and she made $5,000 in 1 week, basically. But we mapped it all out. She went ahead and put it out to her group. I have 10 spots. It's $500. Who wants in? Here's what we're going to be doing. And she sold them. So it doesn't have to take weeks. It doesn't have to take months. It can be on an afternoon. As long as you know what to do and how to do it, it can go very quickly. So you only need the strategy to organize, automate, and market it. You already have your knowledge. You have that brilliance in you. We just need to pull it out, organize it, and then your 6-figure business becomes inevitable. Inside my Leverage Your Brilliance program, modules 1 and 2 is where we kind of organize it all. And module 3 is about pre-selling. So if you even did 1 module a week, which you can do, which is very, very doable, then that could be 3 weeks. So that's why I say it's in 30 days or less, you are already selling and making money. So this is not something that has to take 6 months or 4 months. It can just be done as quick as you want to go. Here's an example of my client, Debbie, who said, with Donna's help, tweaking my program, funnel, and marketing, it spoke to my ideal client so well that in less than 3 weeks, I had sold 10 clients and I made over 10K. I was stuck and she made it simple. So let's talk about this working less and 3-day weekends, right? Because I'm kind of building up to this. Like, here's what we're going to be building, and this is how it can work. You don't have to spend all of your days delivering your coaching and doing all these projects and doing all these other things. So let's talk about one-to-one coaching, whether that's coaching or if you're like a therapist and you're like, having sessions and you're helping people that way, or you're working on projects, whatever that one-to-one kind of hours for dollars work is versus the leveraged programs that we've been talking about. Let's talk about the time factor. I've been talking about the work, and you've heard me talk a little bit about the time factor. Well, let's look at it just sort of out of a on paper. Let's look at actual stuff here. So for one-to-one or projects that you have to work on, if you're helping people with social media or working on website design or something like that, let's just say you have 2 sales calls this week. So this is like a week, because you're still, trying to bring on new clients. Let's say you have 1 new client from last week or the week before, and you have to have 1 onboarding call with them to like explain how to do it and set up all their additional calls and all that stuff. And then you already have clients, or you already have projects that you are working on with other clients. So you've got 10 of those that you're already working on. And so let's look at the time. So your sales calls, let's just say your sales calls run about an hour. So that's 2 hours. I know they could be even longer than that, but we'll just say it's an hour. Your onboarding call, an hour. Maybe it's a little bit less, but we'll just give it an hour. And then you've got your coaching or your projects where you actually do the work, the delivery, and that is going to be 10 hours. So if we add all of that up, you've got about 13 hours of actual time, like on the phone, doing things, doing the work. And that doesn't even include like marketing or doing social media posts yourself, or showing up in your groups, or podcasting, or whatever you're doing to get clients, showing up at networking events. This is just the actual like work you have to sit down and do. Now for leverage program, it looks a lot more empty. You've got 0 sales calls, 0 onboarding. And for delivery, you just have 1 group. So it's 1 hour. If you have 2 groups, then you've got 2 hours. And even that is a lot more refreshing than 13 hours. And with a leverage program, the way I teach it, we have automation for the, do I have this on the next page? We have the automation to help you with the marketing. So a lot of the marketing is already done for you. Like, you do have to show up here and there. It's not like you just sit there and the clients drop into your lap. But when you have a good automated funnel, then a lot of that is already taken care of. So, just a few hours at most, let's say 1 to 3 versus 13, maybe to 15 hours if you're doing marketing. And here is what your calendar can look like if you have your 3-day weekends or even more. I have family Fridays where I don't do any work and I spend time with my husband or my kids. I go to the beach, I do things I want to do, or take a long weekend and go see my parents or whatever. So I have it marked off that I don't work on Fridays. And then the rest of the week, I have, whatever I have to do. So my coaching call may be on Mondays. That's my hour I have to do. And maybe Tuesday, I do a little social media. Wednesday, I answer questions in a Facebook group. And then that's it. So this shows you, week by week, how you really are leveraging your time, and you don't have to do all those things that you were doing before. It's all in this one program. And it's like condensed down into just this little bit of time, but so powerful and so full of results. So Jeannie says, Donna redesigned my programs by leveraging my time and creating a better result for my clients. I'm no longer on calls every day of the week. And that's what I want for you. So like I was saying, this automates the sales and onboarding process. So there's no calls, no hustling, no doing all the things just to bring in more people or to kind of sustain the people that you have. It eliminates all of that and automates all of that into something that really, though it's not like set it and forget it. I don't want you to think that you never have to do anything again, but it is so much more leveraged, and it's just a little bit of time versus all of the things. And also something I want to discuss here is heart marketing. And this is something I am embracing and doing in my own business and doing with my people. Doing things this way and creating a course or a program this way is no pushy, icky marketing, no weird sales calls or made up scare tactics. It's an authentic sales. It's authentic way to enroll people that empowers them. And I like this heart marketing, and this is what we stand for in my business. Is I call it heart marketing. You may have heard people talk about bro marketing these days, where it's like those old paradigms of get in now while the price is this, tomorrow the price goes up, and on all of that, or just like pushy people trying to force you into something. And I am just so against that. We teach heart marketing here. And I think that really makes all the difference, especially to women and especially just coming out of what we've gone through as an entire world. And we want to do things different. So we are embracing heart marketing. So you can replace your weeks filled with delivering all the things with creative and CEO time or time off or both. So I break all of this down in the advanced training I'm going to be talking to you about, which is coming up later this week. And I'm going to go through exactly the step-by-step process, how I do that, and how it's my process of bringing people in and how I teach the whole program. So tell me why you are excited about this new way of like doing business and helping people and getting the transformation. So I'd love to hear in the chat if you want to say, what excites you about this? Is it I only have to work a few hours a week? Is it like, I want to help people in a deeper way? I want to show up better as a coach or as a consultant? Or is it just like the whole thing sounds really exciting? So let me know in the comments, in the chat there, if, what is exciting up, what is like kind of really like getting you excited about this whole thing. And, we don't have to keep doing things the old way. And when we start to get burned out or things start changing in industries, it's time to get in front of the curve and create something that will work and something that will give you good results and will give your clients good results and not just keep staying with the same thing. So just to recap, we talked about the shifting industries. DIY is losing effectiveness. People want connection now. Leverage programs bring the best of all worlds together. Launching these programs can be quick, and the math to six figures makes sense. And you get to work smarter and not harder. I know that's so cliche, and I always like work less, make more, but it's so true. And I know that people tell me I just want to work smarter instead of just bringing on another client, trying to squeeze them in to their business or trying to take on one more project because you want to scale your revenue higher. Like, you're going to hit a ceiling if you haven't already. You can only take so much of that. Like, there's only so many hours in the day you can work and so many hours a day you can coach or work on projects. And then you're going to cap off and you're going to be like, well, I either have to raise my prices, but either that, there's only so much you can do. So this model is so scalable that there's really no ceiling to it. So I know that you're ready to scale your business, to keep getting great client results, to stop the burnout, the exhaustion of delivering, whether you're there or you can see yourself soon at that level, and you want to work less while increasing your consistent revenue. And you want to do it without hustling, without it taking tons of time, without the icky marketing, and without being overwhelmed. Like, okay, this sounds great, but how in the world do we get all this done? I get it for sure. And you are ready to design your leverage program to be irresistible and scalable. You want a simple system to get it up and running. You want to automate the process so you can take Friday or any day off to be the CEO so that you can do what you love. And like, again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to follow a proven system. So how would you like all the templates, the scripts, a step-by-step map to create and market your leverage program? Well, you are invited to apply now for the Leverage Your Brilliance program. This is the program that has evolved over 4 years, and really with 12 years of my experience creating, marketing, and launching out programs and delivering programs. And you are invited to apply now for this amazing program, and also to get an invitation to the additional training that I've been talking about, which is coming up later this week. And I'm really going to go into depth on all the steps that I go through, like here's how we do it and here's what the whole program is about. But today was all about like just getting your juices flowing on 3-day weekends and how a leverage program is amazing. So I'm going to give you the link to go ahead and apply for that. Leverage Your Brilliance is really the only program you need to do this. It teaches you to design, to launch, and market your automated program with heart marketing and intuition to build your 6-figure program business. And I'm just going to briefly go through how it works. Again, I'm going to talk about it all in that advanced training, but just a little quick overview. We design your program, then you launch and pre-sell it. Again, I talked about that like within just weeks. Then we automate with a heart marketing funnel, and then you step into that CEO working class. So here's just a little bit about the Leverage Your Brilliance program and why you need to apply now. Well, I think, how long are you going to waste like thinking about doing this? You probably have already been like, well, I started something 2 years ago and then I never finished it, or I created something, but it never sold, or I've been thinking about doing this someone said, I've been thinking about doing this for 3 years. And I thought, how much money have you like lost out, and how many people have you not been able to help because you've been thinking about it? So haven't you waited long enough to do this? I mean, every day you wait, you're missing out on sales and revenue, of course, but you're also missing out on making that deeper impact and helping people, because I know you're already like a coach or a service provider because you want to help and you want to make like impact and transformation for people, or you wouldn't be doing what you're already doing. And you can reach more people and just be a better coach yourself by creating something like that. So here is the link, and I'm going to go ahead and pop it into the chat as well. So go ahead and apply to get the invitation to the additional training and apply to the Leverage Your Brilliance program. If you're like wondering, oh, I don't know, like, what if it won't work? I have this fear that it just won't work for me, or I don't know if I can do it. Like, it sounds good for all those other people, but I can't do that. Or I don't know where I'm going to find the time to do it. I think there's nothing worse than wondering if, right? And you've probably heard this quote that, at the end of your life, it's not the things that you've done that you regret. It's the chances that you didn't take, right? It's the things you didn't do that you regret. Like if you do something and it doesn't work, or you don't like it, well, that's fine, but at least you tried. So I think there's nothing worse than fear is wondering what if. Well, what if I had done that 3 years ago, like I had first said? Where would I be now? Where would I be now? Where will I be in 2022 or beyond if I get started now? So fill out the application. There's no obligation. You may learn something that really changes your business, because I am going deep in this advanced training that I'm doing, really talking about the nuts and bolts and the step-by-steps of first you do this and then you do this. We're going to go through that whole sales, the funnel, and go through everything you need, including all the details about the program. So there's the link to just fill out the application for the Leverage Your Brilliance program. We'll look at your application and make sure you're a good fit. We want to take people who we know we can help and who are at the right place for, coming on, and, and I want to know that I can help you. So you can fill out that application. Again, no obligation. And you're going to get access, if you're accepted, to that training that I'm going to do that really is going to give you like the nuts and bolts on how to do this. Here's another success story. I want to give a huge shout out to Donna and her team for helping me to put together a new group program and funnel. Donna is brilliant and committed, and I use their done for you program templates and set the whole thing up quickly. Definitely worth the investment as I grow in 2021. So let's get into the details about the program, how Leverage Your Brilliance works. So there is curriculum. As I said, remember, the best of both worlds. I have an entire library of curriculum over there, but nothing overwhelming, very short little videos that walk you through the step-by-step, no fluff, just what you need. In our client portal that houses on-demand modules, meaning as soon as you enroll, you can go at your own speed and like binge them all on a weekend or during the holidays or when you have some downtime, or take them step by step, go at your own speed. This is where you also download the templates and listen to the recorded calls. And I'm always updating. About once a year, I update the modules because of the way the marketing changes and the industries change. So I'm always adding new things and updating. You get weekly group calls once a week. We all get together as a group, and this is where you get the feedback. I help you move forward. I, answer the questions, and this is, where we do a lot of the work. You can come live, or if you can't make it, pre-submit your questions, and I will answer it on the call. All the calls are recorded and again, put into that portal. We also have a mindset coach, which comes in several times a month, and a tech coach that comes in when needed. And you can go in a separate Zoom room and speak to them. And I'm telling you, they are amazing. Our mindset coach will blow your mind for real and will help you. And if you're having like limited beliefs or anything, and sometimes you think you don't, and she'll find something that will just like bring your awareness up, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I can move on with that and I'm not stuck. We do material reviews. So, sorry, my phone is like beeping and it's back here. Our team looks over all your assets, including your outline, your price, your title, your copy, the webinar, the funnel pages. We look at everything. You're not just like doing the work and hoping that it's okay. We send you customized video with feedback like, hey, this looks great. I think you need to change this one word here, or, do this over here. And we actually give you the feedback so you or your team can address it. And then several times during the program, when you do big things, you get to book a private call with a team coach. And several times, like when you launch your pre-sale or where you get your funnel up, you get to have an actual call with us so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page. It's like an extra bonus time just with us. And those are the milestone calls. We also have a Facebook community where people ask questions, get feedback, collaborate, and again, get that sense of community, post their webinars for people to watch, ask questions, and do some research over there. We have done for you templates and checklists. This is very plug and play. Like I said, this is a 4-year in the making program. And I have tried to do all the heavy lifting. A lot of it is just fill in the blanks. And we help you with the pre-sale launch, the funnel, the emails. We have all of that stuff. And again, I'm going to go more in depth into all of that and show you all that stuff inside the advanced training. The marketing funnel, our entire automated funnel is ready for you to download or hand off to your team to do. So you don't have to be worried about tech and how do I do this and how do the pieces fit together. We've already done that. And there's a bonus. You get the launch book, email workbook. These are my exact emails that we took out of the computer system and put them into an actual book. In fact, I should have shown you, I have the book. You will get this in the mail. It's a hard copy book. And there are different emails in there for pre-sale launches, webinars, challenges, and social posts. So if you're stuck or your team is stuck on what to say, you can open that up and just use mine as a jumping off place. And you also get the winning webinar workshop. We just did this, I think I told you live, just last month. Here, we had a 2-day event, and we are taking the recordings, and that will be added into the portal. So you will get to see the winning webinar workshop, even though I have a whole module on doing a webinar. This is like an intensive, and you will also get access to that. So just imagine like what all this would mean for you and your business. Like, what would it mean if you could spend less than 2 to 3 hours a week in that client delivery time in just doing the leverage program and not have to do 13 and 15 hours a week? What it would be like to enroll 3, 5, even 10 plus clients every month at 1K or 1,500 or whatever your price point might be, without adding more time, more work, and more calls. And like, imagine what it's like to finally be the CEO in your business instead of like the hamster on the wheel or the person like cooking the fries. Like I said earlier, like you need to be the CEO. You need to have creative time to think or to take time off to recharge, not just constantly working in the business. So finally stepping into being the CEO of your business. So I'd love you to apply to get the invitation. So apply for the Leverage Your Brilliance program, and that will also get you the invitation to the additional training. As long as you're accepted, you will get that. Here is the link, and I'm going to pop that over. Let's go to questions. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to put, oh, I didn't know you had your video on there, Leslie. Okay, thank you. I hope that didn't knock off my, I don't know how that was on there, but let me give you the link that, to it right here. So if you guys want to just do it now, let me give you that. Sorry, I should have had that right here. So if you want to go ahead and apply to the Leverage Your Brilliance program, again, there's no obligation, and you will get the link then to the bonus training, which we are doing later this week. So I want you to have that, because I'm going in step by step to explain how it all works and how I teach it and what you have to do first and how it all looks and all the details. So, all right, great. Let me go back and check any questions that came up. That's the favorite part of your programs. Okay, great. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like Deborah was saying she wanted to reach more people and have the ability to scale. Any other questions about this? Hey, Leslie, I know you just jumped on, so maybe you missed a lot of it, but you can get the replay on this. Any questions on like turning what you're already doing into a leveraged program, or like how to we talked about math, we talked about numbers. Anybody have anything on that? If not, I must have did an okay job going through this. I don't want to keep us too long. So again, there's the link, and I will send it in a follow-up email so that you can have that. I'd love to have you apply for that advanced training, which is about clearing your calendar and turning your course into a six-figure business. Let me see if there's any other questions, or give you guys just a moment as I'm checking the chat. Oh, Deborah said she had to jump off. All right, I think we've got everything, and I don't see any other questions. So again, I put the link in the chat. So if you're interested in applying for the advanced training and the Leverage Your Brilliance program, I'd love to have you. I'll be talking all about the program, and I give you like a quick rundown here, but I'll be going in details about everything and really going through it so that you can understand it in that advanced training. So, all right, until next time, I will see you then.